So today we are going to talk about stealing away 15 minutes, self-care. Today we're going to talk about stealing away 15 minutes, self-care isn't selfish. And so I am Megan Ham. I am the host of a Lunchtime live series that I do every Thursday in my Facebook group, Tantrums and Meltdowns. And we do it between the hours of 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. I try to do it at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, but it can happen anytime between 11 and 1. And so I am a licensed professional counselor, rush to play therapist, and I'm a parent-child relationship expert. And so every week what we do is we just talk about a different topic. So it's really, it's not a long time, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. And so if you want to join us in the group, definitely I'll put the link in the comments when the video is done, for you to join us in the group if you would like to, because we have good conversations. So who the group is for? The group is for parents, caregivers, support people who have children who maybe deal with some big behaviors, some meltdown moments, and we just support each other through shared experience. And we support each other in being able to talk about the behavior and how can we help each other. Now, this group is for people who are willing to look beyond the behavior and try to help figure out what is going on with the child, with the behavior, but also being accountable as the adult, in terms of being able to understand that we anchor some of the meltdown. We anchor the meltdowns, and so our responses are really important. And so that's where we are. That's who we are, and that's what we do in the group. But today, for our Lunchtime Live, I wanted to talk about stealing away 15 minutes. Self-care ain't selfish, right? Because if we're being honest, right now, we have a lot going on. Y'all, I mean, if y'all watch the news, every day is something. Not even every day. Like every other hour is something with the news. We have kids that it's time for state testing. So we have a lot of stuff going on with the school system in terms of getting your kids ready for state testing. If you have kids that deal with big behaviors or even that deal with a lot of testing anxiety, we got parents who are we stressed out, y'all. I'm gonna just be honest, we just stressed out. So today I decided that we were gonna talk about the importance of self-care and stealing away 15 minutes. So stealing away 15 minutes just comes from the idea that I have, that I feel like if we were to be able to, as a parent, as a caregiver, as an employee, as a mom, as a daughter, as a sister, if we were able to allow ourselves a minimum of 15 minutes every day, small increments of doing something that is honestly selfishly just for us, not having to take a kid to an appointment, not having to do anything else, but just being able to do something for us, then I feel like we can definitely be able to deal with things that come as they come. Because we know that life be lifing, and life is going to continue to happen. And so the goal is to be able to prepare ourselves through self-care and doing things for ourselves so that when life happens or when things happen, then we have more capacity to be able to deal with it. I'm looking at this thing because it's telling me my internet connection. But we ain't going to touch nothing. No, for y'all who don't know me, I'm not a techie person. If I touch something, I'll tear it up and we won't even have a live video. So today we're going to just dive into the self-care. So I wanted to talk about self-care, the importance of self-care. And understanding that is what we're here for. And that's what self-care is. But you get to decide what self-care is for you. So some people think about self-care and they think about vacations and they think about manicures and pedicures and they think about, going out to dinner alone and going and doing all these things, which those things can be self-care for you. And you have to decide what works for you. Because some people, long bubble baths are not self-care for everybody. But if that's for you, then you definitely do that. For me, one of my big self-care items or things that I try to do on a daily basis is I'm a car sitter. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what we're going to call it today. So when I come home, I sit in my car. And I may sit in my car for 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, just as a way for me to be able to debrief before I transition from work to home. I will watch TV. TV is one of my self-care items, but I have to be careful with that one, but it's still one of mine. And I like reading and listening to books and listening to music. So those are some of my self-care things. Long drawn out showers and long bubble baths and manicures and pedicures would not be what I consider self-care for me. Or even going shopping. I love shopping, but anybody who knows me know that Dollar Tree is my favorite store. So I love shopping, but that wouldn't necessarily be considered self care. So for me, I had to really dig deep because at one point I thought that self care was being able to go to Walmart by myself. And I realized that's not, that could be it and that could be part of it. But I don't want that to be the only self care that I get in my life. So today we're going to talk about the 3 P's of self care. Right, so 3 P's. The first one is permission, the second one is prioritize, and the third one is planning. And so when we think about permission, I want you to think about the first P of permission is being able to, just the idea that you deserve self-care. So many of us are, or if you have been raised or in a society that makes you feel like once you become a parent, it's not about you, it's about your kid, right? Once you become a parent, you put your needs and your wants and your desires and you put them on the back burner and you make sure that your family is okay. You make sure that, once you become a spouse, you make sure that your partner is okay. And the reality is all those things are true, but that doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice. Especially as Black women, we are trained in a sense that self-sacrifice is the way to go. That in order for us to fulfill the role of mom and wife and daughter, that we have to sacrifice our needs and what we want. And I'm just here to tell you today that that's not true. Being able to put ourselves on the back burner does not mean that we are that we are providing everything that we need to provide for our family. And one thing I always tell people is we have to unlearn that and give ourselves permission to be able to say that, self-care ain't selfish. And me being able to take a day or take time to do something for me doesn't mean that my family is getting neglected. And one of the things I tell people too is we can't fully show up for other people if we're not whole and healthy ourselves. Right? How many times have we tried to do something for somebody and we're unable to do it because we're tired or we're drained or we have all these things going on because we're not taking care of ourselves? So the first P is being able to give yourself permission. Taking a break ain't selfish. I'm going to keep saying ain't because I'm from Mississippi and I like the word ain't. Ain't selfish, but it's how you stay grounded and being able to give yourself more capacity because you have to be able to take care of yourself too. And so the second one is prioritize. You have to prioritize the time, right? Once you identify that, okay, I'm giving myself permission to have self-care, you got to prioritize it. One example I always use is if you, as a mom, if you had a child, if one of your kids had a doctor's appointment, and let's say one of your kids had a doctor's appointment, there's not much that you probably would allow somebody to say, hey, your kid has a doctor's appointment, but I don't want you to go. Don't take them to the doctor. I need you to come do something for me. We'll probably look at somebody sideways, right? Like, where does that come from? But when it comes to us being able to prioritize self-care, we sometimes will put it on the back burner and we'll continue to move it, which means that once we identify, okay, I want to do this, I want to go, get my nails done, but something comes up. The kid needs something, the spouse needs something, somebody else needs something, and we are quick to be like, oh, I'll just go do that later, right? No, we're not doing it later. If we prioritize it, we're going to say that I can be able to do this thing, whatever I've identified as my self-care, and guess what? In this next hour, in this next 2 hours, in this next 30 minutes, my world is not going to fall apart. It absolutely is not. Guess what? If they need you right now, they're still going to need you in 30 minutes when you get to getting your nails done. That's just how I see it in terms of when I think about prioritizing. Because a lot of times when we don't prioritize, what we do is we are taking away our capacity to be able to deal with things that happen. And so I would encourage you that when you're prioritizing, that is your way of refilling your cup, right? I'm refilling my cup and I'm giving myself things so that when life happens, I'm able to give from, as people say, from my overflow. And the third one is planning. Being able to protect the time. Put it on your schedule, protect the time. So, but be honest with yourself. I've been on this exercise regimen for probably the last 10 years where I'm going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. But the reality, and I have an alarm set. At one point I had a backpack, a gym backpack, all the things. But the reality is 5 a.m. is not my optimal time. And so I don't even know what 5 o'clock in the morning looks like most of the time. And so for me, I would be being dishonest with myself it really set myself up for failure if I identify my self care as, oh, I'm gonna do something at 5 o'clock in the morning, because 5 o'clock in the morning is not my time. But even you as a parent, if you say, hey, I'm gonna do my self care at 3 o'clock, and you know that you get off at 2 and you have to get the kids, you have to be in line to get the kids at 3, that might not be realistic. So just being realistic with yourself about what is your self care time, what is gonna be your 15 minutes. Like I said, for me, sitting in the car from coming to work, having that time to debrief before I go into the house is part of my 15 minutes. But another time I have is in the evenings or at night, really. Once everybody goes to, once everybody go to bed, I can have time to just kind of debrief or do the things that I want to do for myself. But I'm also good at scheduling my time. So it might be midday Tuesday. It might be Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I take myself to Waffle House because that's what I want to do today for self-care. So I want you to think about that. What does that mean for you? And self-care does not have to be about spending money. So I want you to think about a 15-minute increment block of time that you can pick every day. And it doesn't have to be the same time every day, but 15 minutes a day that you can just unapologetically do something for yourself that you do to make yourself feel good, right? Or make yourself feel better, or being able to refill and replenish your cup, right? So if you are overwhelmed by the world and everything that we got going on right now, right? Like some of us are, that's okay. Being able to set the boundaries where we need to when it comes to TV and all those things. We'll talk about that later. Set your boundaries. But if you're overwhelmed, I want you to think about, what can I do today? Today you can identify time, 15 minutes a day, where you could just do something for yourself. It might be journaling. It might be deep breathing. It might be doing yoga. It might be having a dance party. It might be learning boots on the ground on the Tamia dance. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to be doing right now, I want you to do that. And so that is going to be my call to action. If this hit home for you and you know that you need to find 15 minutes a day today to do something for yourself, I want you to drop a heart below in the comments. And I also want you to tell me, what is it that you're going to do today? I'll share what I'm going to do intentionally for my 15 minutes a day, and I look forward to hearing what y'all are going to do as well. So remember the 3 P's of self-care. First, give yourself permission. 2, you have to prioritize it and know that you are important too. And the third one is plan it. Put it on your schedule. Make sure it's a time that's convenient or a good time for you, and then just go through with it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I love to continue the conversation in the comments.